presentations. And now we're going to move on to the perhaps most exciting part of this evening. I was going to say at the beginning, and I didn't actually say it, that although there's only 7 out of the 10 shortlisted people here tonight, of those 7, 3 of them are actually the first, second and third prize winners. So, amongst you, a little bit of tension. Is it going to be me, you're asking? Well, I'm going to hand over to Leigh and Russell in a minute, who will actually make the presentations. But before I do, I'd just like to say a few words about her. Leigh is an award-winning author who wrote her first novel in 2009. Since then, she's produced full-length crime stories at least every year and currently has 9 books published. Her latest story is Killer Plan, which is available on Kindle at the moment and will be in paperback from May this year. Not only is she an award-winning and prolific author, but she is also a secondary school English teacher, a guest university lecturer in creative writing, and a mother to 2 daughters. So I think she not only qualifies to be a great judge for this sort of competition, but she also should be regarded as a bit of a superwoman as well. When I read crime stories, and I've read quite a few over the last few weeks, they really are good, I have to tell you, I do think to myself, I wonder if we're going to see these on TV. And speaking to Leigh earlier this evening, she said that, well, they are in the pre-production stage at the moment. So there is a good possibility that we may well be seeing Geraldine Steele on our screens very shortly. And I'm sure that it'll knock someone like Barnaby into a cocked hat.
Better in print.
Never.
Well, but in the meantime, after the awards ceremony, I want you to realise that there's a load of books over there which Leigh will be quite happy to sign for you if you want to have a signed copy from her. But I'll now ask Leigh to come forward so that we can actually start to announce the winners.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you very much for those kind words, Philip. I am going to keep you in suspense for just a few more minutes because there are a couple of things I would like to say. First of all, I would like to thank Bedford writers very much for the opportunity to read some really exciting new fiction, and I thoroughly enjoyed reading all of the entries that were passed on to me. I would like to thank Waterstones in Bedford for hosting this event, because what better place can there be to celebrate writing than in a bookshop? And I will just, if you'll forgive me, I'll get on my platform for just one moment and say something about print books. You're in a bookshop. Before you leave tonight, as a gesture to Waterstones, do have a look around, and it may be that there's a book on the shelf somewhere that takes your fancy. Buy it before you leave, because we need to support our bookshops. Right, I need to get off that platform now. Finally, I would like to thank all of the writers who had not only the talent, but also the courage to submit their stories to be read by strangers. It does take courage to show what you've written to other people, and we really appreciate that. Thank you. Right, I was sent a short list of 10 stories, and I have to say I really enjoyed reading them. I know from the comments that I've heard that the initial panels of readers found it very difficult to select the shortlist, and personally I found it very difficult to choose winners from that shortlist. And I do have to say, everybody who submitted in some sense is a winner, because you had the courage and the talent to submit your stories. Certainly everyone who made it to the shortlist is a winner, because you were shortlisted, you were selected. But I did have to choose a winner. Very difficult. So I thought I'd just say very quickly a couple of words about what I look for when I'm judging competitions like this. The first thing has to be the quality of the writing. And I do urge all of you who are serious about your writing, if you're thinking of submitting to competitions, to agents, to publishers, do read and reread and write and rewrite and make your writing as good as you possibly can before you submit it. There are certain hooks that I will look for in a story. There has to be something that engages my interest. It might be an interesting character. It might be a slightly intriguing event that happens. It might just be the quality of the writing. It might be the humour. Your hook is up to you to decide what you are going to offer your readers, because it's your writing. But there has to be something that makes it stand out in some way. We are all born as creative people in one way or another. That is something that is just in you. But in terms of your skills, there are things as a writer that you can do to hone your skills, to try and polish your writing. So, well, I've already mentioned, buy a book. The more you read, the better your writing will become as you absorb the language, absorb the ideas. Join a writers group. If you're not already a member of Bedford Writers Group and you live in the area, well, there can't be a better writers group to join, I'm sure. The standard is phenomenal. If you don't live in the area, there will be writers groups in your areas. Find creative writing courses. There are things you can do to hone your skills. The creativity is something that you were born with. So, I will move on now. I have great pleasure in announcing the winners. So, in third place, and I also have cheques for people. I can't remember what I have.
To be my thank you.
Right, I have big envelopes. Bedford writers have produced wonderful certificates as well as cheques for you. So, in third place is The Boy with the Magic Fingers. And I'm just going to read out the little notes that I scribbled down as I was reading it. So this is not particularly coherent, but you will get the gist of it. I wrote down, well written, dramatic, develops clearly, it has shape. A real sense of character came across through an interesting first-person narrator. So this had a lot to recommend it, and I have a certificate and a cheque for the writer of The Boy with the Magic Fingers. If that writer would like to come forward, I need to look at the certificate to find out the name, because I wasn't given the names. This is Lucy Bignall. And there's a smaller envelope in there with a cheque in it, and congratulations. Thank you very much. Right, in second place is, and I do actually know who this writer is because I happened to chat to him earlier on this evening, but I couldn't tell him. In second place is Fergal's First Gig, and my comments here I put, there were some haunting sentences in this, really beautiful. It was very well written. I did feel at times it was a little bit overwritten. There were a lot of adjectives in this, and I wondered if possible, I think it's very often as writers we feel a bit insecure, and I know I did this myself. The first time I had a manuscript back from an editor, I was absolutely shocked by how much she wanted me to cut out. And I now would like to share with you something George Orwell said. He said, if it is possible to cut a word out, always cut it out. Now that is maybe a little bit draconian, but I think sometimes we can overwrite, and it's something to watch against. But I felt there was a great sense of the time in this piece, a great sense of nostalgia. It had great movement and shape, a very powerful ending, and a really, really amazingly talented writer, I think, here. So this is, let's have a look at the name. So it's Mike Fox. Would you like to come forward? And do take your check. I'm so jealous of these certificates. I said to Philip, I think I should have a certificate. Congratulations. And I should have said, I feel moved to say it now, I should have said this right at the beginning, to all the submissions, certainly to all the shortlisted writers and the winners, do keep writing, please. I will be looking out for your names on the shelves. So now we come to the first prize. And the first prize goes to the writer of Lures. And I've written about this, these are just my notes. Thoughtful, well written. It opens with direct speech, which puts us immediately into the scene. It's written in the present tense. That is slightly unusual, slightly unconventional. It's not unusual, but it's very appropriate in this piece, as you will hear when I read it. Humour is used well to deal with a very serious subject matter. Title was very clever, I think, and it was just well written, beautifully understated, a sensitive treatment of a difficult subject matter, and had a wonderful extended metaphor, has layers, has depth. So I'd like to present the certificates then to Liz Kershaw.
Thank you.
I hope it's all right with you, Liz. I have been asked to read your story aloud.
Oh,
and I hope I can do it
yes,
justice.
I don't have to do it. Thank you, that's fabulous. Thank you so much.
Congratulations.
Thank you.